Pep Guardiola on matchday 1000 in his managerial career snatched his chain back off Arne Slot in terrific fashion. That fashion was elevated, raised, uplifted by the sensational performance of Jeremy Doku. That performance executed by the 23-year-old isn't only one of the best individual performances of the season, but probably in the fixture alone, especially within the last decade or so. He ruined the champions in irresistible style. So today, let's look at just how good he really was. Now, there's always been that looming question surrounding Jeremy Doku with, yes, he's a good 1v1 dribbler, yes, he's great taking on a man, but can he actually impact the final thirds? Well, yesterday, on the biggest stage, he did just that. This season, he's maintained his excellence in progressive carries, successful take-ons, carries into the penalty area, all the stats you'd basically expect. But with the significant loss of Kevin De Bruyne's freak creativity, it's been a somewhat demand for Jeremy Doku to step up a little bit. An increase in chances created, passes into the penalty area, and assists overall clearly evidence this. This is the look of someone who's experiencing and enjoying an increase in levels this season, with more attacking responsibility, evident of course by those stats of course, but also in the matchup against Liverpool. The passing network from Sunday's encounter presents the Belgian even higher up than Erling Haaland, showing just how direct and dominant his input was high up the pitch. His ball progression via carry was only matched by Bernardo Silva, clearly showing the two to be a league of their own in progressing through to the next phase. And then just his stats from the match overall, winning his duels, beating his man, creating chances. That performance matched Eden Hazard against West Ham in 2019, where Hazard scored that iconic solo goal. So that level of performance against a pretty good opposition just shows the levels that Jeremy Doku is showing at the moment. He touched the ball in Liverpool's box more in the first half than Liverpool, their entire team, did in Manchester City's box in that entire first half. But enough chatter about stats. Let's analyse him a little bit more extensively. Now, Jeremy Doku, as we all know, has probably been one of the best improved players of the season so far. I mean, just look at yesterday's performance. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's the type of performance that needs breaking down. But the biggest thing about Doku's game that we've lightly touched on so far is creativity. He has been a massive improvement with the losses of Kevin De Bruyne. Over the years, I think City have lost the likes of Gundogan, Mahrez, Cancelo, all those freak creative profiles they've lost. They've aged. So Doku is taking that burden a little bit, and he's doing such a good job. Here is an example. He's 1v1 with Conor Bradley, cuts inside onto his right foot very decisively, and then just look at the weight of pass. It is right onto Foden's right foot. It was precise. He pierced the ball through brilliantly, and although Foden did fail to control this, you can see that it wasn't up to Jeremy Doku. It was a great pass, and it just shows creatively he's improved so much. We're also looking once again at him squeezing through opposition players. Liverpool could not contain him. They were struggling so much. You essentially had to 3v1 him just to get a chance of actually winning the ball, actually getting back possession. Because as you can see, Kanate, Bradley, Szoboszlai, McAllister, they're all having a nightmare against the Belgian. He was relentless. This is another example of how creatively accurate and impressive he really was. He's 2v1 with Gravenberch and Bradley running back. Conor Bradley is backpedaling. You can see the runs of Ryan Cherky and Foden on the inside. Doku places it into a corridor of certainty that a player is going to get onto it. If it's Foden, it's going to be Cherky, and Cherky should have done way better with this opportunity. But the pass was excellent, the weight was fantastic, and then this was something of Jeremy Doku's game that I was really impressed by. Although physically he's not the best, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not going to throw somebody off the ball, he physically competes genuinely very, very well. I mean, here with Conor Bradley, he is really struggling. I don't think it was a case of Conor Bradley being that bad. I think it was more of a case of Jeremy Doku just being that good and that decisive. I mean, that is the screen grab for all Jeremy Doku and Manchester City fans. He physically competed with Bradley so well. Somebody who just dominated Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. didn't get a single sniff against him on last Tuesday. But then you can see here he puts his foot on the ball decisively. He's oozing confidence. He could cross it, probably should cross it with the space Haaland's in, cuts back and nearly scores on his weaker left foot. He was so impressive, and it was a pretty good save from the goalkeeper as well. He was just so consistently good throughout this performance, and this was an amazing goal. With this, he's approaching Ibrahim Konate, and he's in a position that he simply just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be with Jeremy Doku in this form, in this space whatsoever. Jeremy Doku does a very nice body feint. He dangles his right foot over the ball before shifting over to his right. Now, many people may look at this and think it's poor from Konate. I mean, somewhat it is. I think the Liverpool midfielder probably should close him down a little bit quicker, but it's not what he's going to do, it's just how sharp he exactly does it. The footwork is very well rehearsed. The footwork is so sharp, it's brilliant. It's obviously something he's practiced and he's quite good at. But the sharpness of which he executes it is absolutely fantastic. Jeremy Doku could probably tell you where he's going to go. You know where he's going to go. He's going to cut on his right foot. He can tell you that. But he probably still beat you because he's just so fast. He's just so sharp. So this buys him that acre of room against Konate. I mean, McAllister should be closing him down a little bit better there. Or is that verse? I don't know. I can't quite see. And then this finish is something that's been missing from his game, as we all know. It's been the biggest criticism of Doku. He's nice creatively, he can beat a man, but when it gets to the final third, he's just not quite accurate. Well, yesterday he was, because that was a sterling finish and a brilliant technique. And then for the first goal, Nico O'Reilly and Phil Foden combined really well, particularly within this corner. But Jeremy Doku here was somebody that I was really impressed by. It's a small detail, but he's got 3 players surrounding him. What he does to Szoboszlai is genuinely really impressive. He shuffles over to his left within his body. That buys him a little bit more room on his right hand side. As you can see, he sharply shuffles back. He's got Conor Bradley just a breeze by, but he beats Szoboszlai here amazingly. He squeezes by Conor Bradley, and this consumes Gravenberch right into him. Create space for Nico Gonzalez. There was a lot of this within the City move. There was a lot of players that were technically off the charts, but they were so good in the little details. And as you can see, there are 3 players there he consumes right into him to create space for Nico Gonzalez, who I thought was really good. It's the little details, but that's just how good Jeremy Doku is. Gravenberch is particularly good at jumping towards his man. He was so sharp, and his interceptions and his reactions were so good against Real Madrid last week, but he simply could not compete with Jeremy Doku out there. Nobody could. If we look at this is just a few examples of how many players were shifting across. You had Salah, you had Bradley, you had Gravenberch, you had Szoboszlai at times. It weren't just 2v1s, it was 3v1s, it was 4v1s. Liverpool could not contain them whatsoever. And although Liverpool executed a really good off-the-ball shape against Real Madrid in transition, Doku's open space with Salah's lack of urgency checking back, it was always going to win here. And the best thing about Doku as well with his 1v1 dribbling is how explosive he is. We've spoken about how sharp, how good he is off the mark, but he slowly stutters, he slows down, he has the full-back backpedaling, and then bang, he's off the mark. And you can see this presented very clearly here. He gets that acre of room on Conor Bradley, and bang, he's gone. He's just that good, he can go either way, and he's just particularly that explosive. He was ridiculous, but he wasn't only good on the ball, he's shown a lot of value off the ball as well. Off the ball within the first half, City of course were a lot more impressive in the first half. than the second half. Liverpool essentially grown into the game a little bit, but it was this 4-4-2 that when it was deep, Foden would drop in and essentially it would be a bit of a 4-5-1 or 4-1-4-1, whatever you want to call it. But Jeremy Doku was integral within this. Nico O'Reilly absolutely bossed Mo Salah all game. He was excellent. What a player. Can't wait to see him for England. But Jeremy Doku was so good within this. It wasn't just getting back in his high energy style and that positional discipline to get back into this space. It was also the intelligence to be blocking off passes as well. Now if we push Manchester City a little bit up a bit, Foden was sort of that trigger for City to push up a bit. He was jumping onto Connor Bradley, and it wasn't just the jumping onto Connor Bradley, it was the fact that he was actually blocking that pass to Szoboszlai quite a lot, particularly in low build up as well. Now I won't shift everybody back, but there was times where Doku was doing this quite a lot. He was blocking that pass really intelligently. He was so positionally aware of where Szoboszlai was, even when he wasn't his man, showing that Jeremy Doku isn't only just a really good footballer and tracks back well, he has that game IQ that Pep Guardiola has really integrated into his game. It's what Pep does. Pep's coaching, Pep's guidance, I think, can be thanked for a lot of Jeremy Doku's success, but he was so good at getting back into these positions, and Mo Salah was 1v2'd, and when Mo Salah gets the ball to feet like this, he isn't going anywhere. He's going straight back with how aggressive Nico O'Reilly was. But when there was a turnover as well, Jeremy Doku was so good. City likes the central overloads. You had Silva, you had Cherky, you had Gonzalez, you had Jeremy Doku, and you had Haaland up high pinning back Canate, and you had Foden in here as well. So the central overload within this space was simply just off the charts, but Jeremy Doku committed to this. He was pulling Bradley away. Robertson was pulled into Cherky. So this created a lot of space for the fullbacks to push up, and even Phil Foden to some slice, and Erling Haaland to push up to isolate Liverpool and create that gap between the midfield and the defence. Doku, within those tight spaces, received the ball fantastically, progressed the ball brilliantly, and when the ball was played direct to Erling Haaland, he was there to play off him. And now I have all of this space, all of the open space, 1v1 with Connor Bradley. That performance from Jeremy Doku yesterday was excellent. I couldn't get enough of it, to be honest with you. I knew I was doing a video on Man City versus Liverpool. What I didn't know was that I was going to be doing one on Jeremy Doku. After about half an hour, I was pretty much decided that, yeah, I need to do a video on him, and there we are. He was amazing. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, then feel free to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of Jeremy Doku and Manchester City in this title race with the Gunners. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.